people that perhaps are more well educated there.
Well,
I know. It all depends what area you're in.
yeah.
Fuck, pisses me off.
Trust me, it pisses me more off.
Well, it also pisses me off because you're in a place where I can't help in any way. Because I'd be like, if I had the ability, if it was someone if I have a student here who has that problem, I have. I've always been in other countries.
So this speed from the Ratamacues, this was challenging. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Well, so I know sometimes you have certain impressions that you like to express. What are you feeling? What are you discovering? Or discovering that needs to be that seems to be lacking.
Nothing particularly, nothing special particularly. Just my classic singles problem. And I try to dig further on the problem. I always try to analyze myself and try to understand what the problem is. And I just feel that after a certain speed, which is not even a lot, let's say 100 BPM, 16 notes, it's just my hands. How can I explain? My hands, imagine like the right hand, right? I can play here and not rely on rebound at all. At a certain speed, I need to rely on rebounds. Now, like this, I don't need to rely on rebound, then progressively starts moving faster and I start relying on rebound. Now, I do this automatically with my right hand, but with my left hand, it feels that I struggle in making that switch. And when I move to start using rebound part of it, my whole grip goes bananas, and I start doing this, which is start trying to use the fingers and start expanding a lot my hands, just not behaving as I wanted it to. So that's for it. If I'm like this, yeah, I feel comfortable and I feel good about it. But when I start or I start choking the stick, which is obviously a problem. Or if I don't choke the stick, my grip starts, falling apart. Say like this, which is obviously wrong. You can see clearly on the left hand. You see?
Well, it means
to turn. Yeah. If you want me to rotate, so you can see it better. I don't know.
Well, perhaps, but there are key aspects that one has to understand and feel, right? It really is a marriage of feeling and intellect. Richard Wilson would always say, I just played by feel. Everyone wanted to know what I was doing. I was doing that as a kid. Right? And some of us weren't able to tap into that kind of ontological nature of the universe at that early age. So, and then what happens is the clever mind gets in the way and confusion sets in. You don't really even know what you're doing in the right hand. If you did, you could probably transfer the knowledge to the left, right? And that's okay, because we don't necessarily need to really know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, we can ponder, we can start to notice certain aspects of what we're doing, but it's not necessarily critical, particularly in the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. That's where Dick Wilson wanted the student to feel. Murray taught through the brain. Dick Wilson just wanted you to feel. He talked to you about what's happening. But so there's something that you're not feeling in the left.
I know. No.
Okay. So just show me a wrist turn in your right. Let's start with the right. What does the wrist turn look like? I want a nice big wrister. What I'm seeing is some amount of pulling. The hand will do certain things if you really leave it alone. So if I'm seeing this, see here I'm coming up and pulling. Right? That's not what I want.
Sure.
This stick, as Richard Wilson describes in the video that I have up, Richard teaching me, right? And Richard Martinez has reinforced this. See, this is really what it's about. About Richard Wilson, circa 94, saying, Kevin, until you feel the stick just laying in the hand and the weight of that stick laying in the hand and this little thing, you're not going to feel it. You're just not going to feel it. Right? And he was right. So, you see, if I'm looking for this, see, here's what a wrist turn is. Just do this with me. See what happened the very first time you went to do it? You held your fingers closed. There's no stick in your hand. Right? You don't have to open them. They will open and they'll close all by themselves. It's just this to this. Yeah. Now you just put a stick in your hand and you acknowledge that truth. And you don't need to squeeze.
Not squeezing.
I'm just saying. You don't need. See, we're just letting the stick lie in the hand as the body does what it naturally does, and we get a certain kind of. Well, we get a wrist turn. We get a wrist turn with no stick, or we have a wrist turn with a stick, and it's a little bit different. But the essential concept remains throughout the technique. So I'm just turning my wrist.
Yeah, I know that, Kevin. I mean, we've been through that so many times. It's just
And leaving everything alone. Stay in your right. Stay in your right. Yeah, something's happening. I wonder what it is. We'll figure it out, and I'll help you figure it out. Here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing. See if I can copy it. I'll exaggerate it a little bit. See it bouncing up a little bit. Now watch mine. It stops absolutely dead. Nothing is moving. When I stop, I feel the weight of the stick lying on my hand. Remember that idea? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, what does that feel like to have it come to a stop? Now let me show you. We don't need to talk too much about what's happening. It doesn't matter. I just want you to feel certain things, and by noticing certain things that might get you to that, help you feel it. So watch. Look at this. It goes almost like it's pointing down. I see you when you land, you're kind of in this position. You're not in this. Oop, see, I was sticking my hand, it would really do that. So you see, I want to see, you see how this looks? This is down. It's down. It's not like this. Go on. Just do it once and stop. Okay, now take your thumb off. Is the stick lying in your hand? No, keep your first finger on. You can lay in there too. There. Now look how, but you're not quite at the floor, are you? See, you're not at the floor. There's the floor. All this stuff seems like minutia. You're never going to get it, Kevin, until you feel this.
At the floor, until you ask me to take the flap off.
You have to have all these pieces, and it was frustrating to hear, so I get it. If that's where you're going to end up, give me one strike and focus on what it looks like. Okay, give me a side view now. Turn to the
like this?
To the snare drum. Look, yeah, turn to the snare drum, the electric snare drum. Okay, I thought you were just going to play on the snare drum. That'll work too. Do it again. Keep going. See? Go on, keep going. Huh. It's as if you're opening your hand as you turn. It's like you're opening your hand as you turn towards the surface. The stick barely comes away from the palm, but there's some movement, right? Stay with me. So I come up, and it's just away from the palm ever so slightly, and I'm coming up about this high. So
it was going off a little bit. You are right.
What was that now?
It was going off the palm a little bit. Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so there is a little movement. Now on the way down, it was if, perhaps I've mentioned this to you once before. Richard Wilson said this to me once sitting in a car with regards to a downstroke. Imagine that. And he said, why are you opening your hand as you make your throw? You're throwing your power away. So we don't want to, see, if you're opening your hand as you turn towards the surface, you're doing something and having a negative effect because you're throwing your power away. So once we get to here, let's come up here artificially. Let's let it sit on the palm. Feel it resting on the palm? Okay, all right. It came up in slow motion. Now we're just going to turn. The fingers don't, do they? The fingers don't open up on the way down.
No.
In this instance, if I come up really slowly, it seems to be resting on the palm the whole way.
Yeah, it does rest. Yeah.
Your stick, as you watch this video back, on the way down, you open up your hand and the stick comes away like a half an inch, maybe more. You'd have to watch again. Oh. This is remedial right now. We're coming up in slow motion. No, just wait at the top. There it is. Lifted the drawbridge. Now, turn towards the surface. No, come on. Turn towards the surface. Ah. That's it. Do it again. Okay. Why after you strike, Raf? Here's what I'm getting to. It's getting better. You'll be able to transfer.
Well, probably the left hand.
See, but your right's got confusion. That's why there's no bilateral transference. So your left will learn as we're teaching the right, which is your better hand. Fascinating, right? Okay, so when you get to the surface, I see this. Now I'm not seeing as much bouncing as you make your attack, but I'm seeing this, and then it settles down. I see this, and then mine, you're so close to it right now. Mine just, watch, I'll come up in slow motion, just stops. Look, stops. In that position, it doesn't go like this after. Come on, lift it up. No, come on. And turn. And it should stop. There, better. Look, it's a little more. Nope, don't come back down. Oh, do it again. Slow motion, lift it up. There! Look, everything stopped dead. Your wrist isn't moving. Come on, lift it up to get that feeling. There it is. There it is. There it is. Now take your thumb off. If it's laying in the hand and if you're at the floor, don't lift it up. No. Leave your first finger on. You mucked it up. Do it again, though. Come on, make a strike. Lift it up. Come on, get the grip together. Now you're doing
without the thumb. With or without the thumb?
Well, I just want you, I want you to hold the stick normally. Okay, and turn your wrist. There, wait. Now just take your thumb off and see if it's laying in your hand. There. You're almost at the floor. Almost. Just a tiny, are you at the floor? Come on, find the floor. Find the floor. Put your thumb back on and do that again. Boom. Boom. Down. Solid. There.
But then, okay, but then if I'm turning the wrists, then I'm using the turn of the wrists together with the gravity then, right? It's not just letting it collapse, I suppose, right?
You're turning your wrist at that point. We could gravity, which is another form of wrist turn, right? So, because if you're talking, it's confusing to me, but we'll figure it out. At this point, you're saying, well, before I wasn't using gravity, but now I seem to be using gravity.
No, the other way around.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because you were coming up and kind of going, oh, yeah, I'm in my wrist. Like, no, dude, turn your wrist. It's not, there's much energy going in both directions.
Okay.
There, isn't there? Look, I'm turning my wrist. I'm turning my wrist. See, it goes down, down. See, it goes down. Here would be gravity. Go ahead and try with gravity. How come?
Policy, I guess.
How come it's what's changed? Nothing should change. Do it. There it is. Yeah, just follow the stick and let it fall. It'll be a little less loud using gravity. No, come on. Oh, there it is. Just let it fall. There. Oh, popped up. Why? Almost. It's a little wobbly at the end. Why? Just turn your wrist now. That's easier for you. There. That's what I want you to feel. Okay. So.
What about the left?
And now we're going to the left. So.
Good. Thank you.
Face me again.
Thank you, Kevin. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And you see that it's changed. It's not what you were doing before. Okay. How big a deal is that? Well, we're going to find out. All I know is now I see a wrist turn. I don't see the inefficiency of movement with the stick bouncing after you get to the surface, make your attack. And I don't see the inefficiency of motion after you make a note. With this coming, what did you do? You'd play and then it would come down. Play and then it would come down.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Imagine doing that. You can imagine as you're trying to speed up and that means that you're not feeling a wrist turn. So it's going to fall apart as you speed up. Okay, now let's in the left, right?
Yeah.
Everything the same applies. It's just a wrist turn, right? But we have a stick in our hand. You're going to lift it up. That's not bad. Think about everything I talked about. Stick up, bouncing around.
Yes, yeah.
And we don't have any speed at all. That's better. Better. There you go. Not bad. Not bad. Do it again. Where's the floor? You're a little high. Show me the floor. That's where you're going to come back to. Come on, but you have to lift it up. Oh, you didn't quite come back to the floor. There's the floor. Take your thumb off and let's see how flat you are. Nice and flat. Okay, it looks very much like the other hand. Now the two hands have a relationship. Finally, the two can hang out together, be friends. Do it again. There you go. Oh, okay. Now go ahead and well, let's see.
I know I'm always coming back to this, Emma.
No, that's how it goes. Sometimes you just need to keep marching on. Other times you need to stop and figure out what is ailing you, right? So, okay. We've slowed it way down. So that, as Richard Martinez says, that's like a camera lens. Everything comes into focus because we've slowed it down. Metronome on at 40, playing quarter notes.
Quarter notes.
I don't want you forcing down. It lifts up and comes down. It's just this turn. Okay. Bye-bye. See ya. See you later. That's all it is. Your left's not at the floor. This is too fast for you. I know it sounds crazy, right? Because I know you play much faster singles. Come on, you lost the floor on the left. Left slowly creeping up because you're not turning and stopping at the floor. There you go. That's how solid that sounds. It just stops. Right? So we're just going up, 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 up. That's all it is. Quarter note triplets. Dot and one and dot and one and dot. No, one and count out loud. Gotta count out loud. Let's just stop for just a sec. The gig, counting out loud, you see, maybe you know where you are relative to the, but I don't know where you are. And so in a live playing situation, perhaps you won't be counting out loud, right? But the person needs to really understand that you know where you are. You can't count it. How can anyone trust that you really know where you are? Right. So for this remedial verified environment, I need you to count out loud.
1 and the 2 and the 1 and the 2 and the 1.
I don't want you to add excessive force on the turn towards the surface. You know what it feels like. Are you at the floor? Stick is laying in your hand, and you're just turning your wrist. You don't need to do any squeezing. The left is starting to want to squeeze. Okay, stop. Stop. Okay, stop. Stop. Stay with me. And 2 and 1 and 1. This is all that's happening. This is the speed, right? Now, why is it suddenly turned into something where there's now you got to pull? And look, stop down. could be right, but it's not what we want. I just need, see, there's nothing to squeeze. That's why it was kind of helpful just to have you come up and leave it on the bottom. Now there's nothing to squeeze. Now what are you going to do? You're just going to turn. Just going to turn. Stop with this stuff. Okay? The other thing that'll happen, Raph, is if you do this, you know where the fulcrum goes?
Goes to this.
Goes to this, because now you've got first finger and thumb fulcrum, and you're doing this. Not what we're doing. Some other technique. That's a finger pull technique within the context of understanding what it feels like to not change the fulcrum and pull. Okay. First, we need to get, what does it just feel like to just turn our wrist? So we're playing quarter note triplets, but much better, by the way. Don't get discouraged. Okay, I'm pointing out the subtleties now. So back to quarter note triplets, and just try not to squeeze. Just turn. Okay.
That, and that.
Consider maybe perhaps a stick resting on the back of the butt end of the collar. Play with that. Because conceptually that will remove the option of poking. There'll be nothing to squeeze. I guess pull it into your palm more. Bad. Don't let go from front. Both grips. Not bad. Okay. 1 and you stop counting. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay, now we're gonna play 8 notes. That's all that's happening. See, nothing's changed. Still turning to the same height. Turn a little higher. Don't squeeze to the left. Just turn. Turn your wrists. Good. Where's the floor? Don't lose the floor. This is where we start. This is where we come back to every time. So you're doing some. Eighth note triplets. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Nothing's changed. Look, it's just a little bit faster. Everything's laying in the hand. Count out loud for me, and don't lessen the height of your turn. Change the wrist turn. It's the same wrist turn, just a little faster. Keep going.
1 and 2 and
1 and 2 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2. Come on, turn your wrist. We're not down here. We could be. I want you to turn. Just a simple turn. Keep going.
So this is what now? 5?
16.
16.
Your turn, repeating. Turn the wrist. Crabb. Okay, can you play groups to 5? Turn your wrist. I'm turning. It's easy. It shouldn't be a big deal. Stop. Stop.
Sorry?
And stop. Do that again, turning that high. When I say stop, stop. Stop. All right. Take your thumb off and see if it's laying in your hand. Back at the floor. Turning pretty high. Left had no problem. Right? Right.
Yeah, it's with the speed, man. That's the problem.
Oh. Yeah.
But I hear it is.
What I'm noticing is that I don't think you're right until we have this. You're right. Couldn't have done what you just did. And I know you're focused on your left because you found a way to get it to go on your right, but it wasn't right. It wasn't this technique. Okay. Now you're turning high and stopping, and you're at the floor. I was coming back to the floor. It's a big deal. Okay, now see if you can play groups of 6. Your hands are championing the right. It's not turning high enough. Left isn't either, but the right isn't. Okay, now get that up to groups of 7. Is that where we would be next? Yeah, groups of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you said something interesting in the beginning. You said, yeah, and once I get to the speed where it starts to bounce, well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I mean, there can be a feeling of a bounce of some sort, right? But really, right now, I'm not thinking in those terms.
No, we're not there yet.
Yeah, but you were. You were looking like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, which we can do, which is cool. But not what I'm asking for right now. It's not really this technique, although this technique you can apply. Stopping up and using some rebound. We can apply it once you understand this. But it's not pure Spivak Wilson, okay? What we're doing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm looking at you. See, mine is doing this. And yours was doing this. Now, if you really know what you're doing, it's okay to do that. But I don't think you knew that you were even doing it. You changed the motion of the wrister. Watch. It was down here, looked like this. As it sped up, why does it need? Doesn't need to change. Doesn't need to change. It doesn't have to start to bounce. Just turning faster. Try it. See, your left is searching for the floor. You're not really, this is as fast as you can go right now, which is cool. But your left isn't spending enough time at the floor. Slow it back down to groups of 6. To spend another minute on this. Right, here's what I want to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how much time look. I'm hanging out here while the other hand is playing. See? Waiting. It's you all the time it has to wait while the other hand is playing. Even if we go faster, look, I don't even there's this. It's not that bouncy thing. Yeah, right. Down here as you can after every strike. You can just relax and hang out here. You just hang, even if it's for a split second. Now the character of the motion has come back. It hasn't changed. It's you turning faster and faster and faster. No matter how fast you turn, there's always going to be that, seemingly that might be so infinitesimal, that moment of relaxation. It's a good way to think. So that we're not, I gotta lift it up. I gotta lift it up right away because I gotta go faster. I gotta bounce. No. I'm just going to turn my wrist faster. Right? And you'll notice when you watch this back that at the speed of 6, you had it, which means you can get to 7. Move it down to 5 just to lock it into your body. Play groups of 5 again. There you go. Just play one hand, just play. Okay. That's waiting. Over forever. Much better. Keep working on that, and you will find that now the two hands are kind of competing. They're kind of the same, right? Now you're learning that you found some way to get really fast in your right, and the left hadn't figured out some sort of secret recipe that doesn't have anything to do with this technique to get faster, because you're thinking about speeding up and bouncing. That won't help you. Okay, not right. Yeah. Okay, now your hands look the same. Okay, so we have symmetry. Now, you mentioned that the single Ratamacue, what I had you play the triple, and then to the single, and then to the double, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's just 84. I mean, I can do it, but it's tough.
Okay, so where did it feel comfortable?
80 maybe. It's just 5 BPM, 4 BPMs left.
Well, go ahead and let's hear it today.
What, 80?
Let's hear it there. Go ahead and play it at 80.
Okay.
slow it down. Slow it down to 60. Look at it there. When you listen back, you'll notice. Alternating. I'll go ahead and play alternating racks. Okay, so we need to work on this again, but this time in another way. It's interesting because you'll notice that there are kinds of, there's a thread that runs through one's playing, and you bring the mistake that you're doing with regards to what we just worked on, the singles, just to a stroke, right? To another stroke, which is why we work on the strokes, because they reveal, they're like the X-ray, the MRI, they reveal what's really happening, right? And so what was happening was, which is why I had you do it, was it was going, it was like, by the time you were you were like stopping here. But that's not what an accent looks like. Show me what an accent looks like. Do it again. First of all, are you really at the floor? Remember this thing? Remember how you were really at the floor? Remember how flat it looks? Okay, so I need you to lead with your wrist and you'll feel the hand close as you get to the surface, and it just does this. Come on, bring it up. Get to here, right? And then it does that. There you go. There you go. Feel the hand close from the wrist. There. That's where it stops when you see you had convoluted your downstroke just because you were playing an appoggiatura. 2 rebounds, 2 notes. So suddenly all of this goes out the window because you're doing this. So now a downstroke looks like this, and the whole thing turns to mush. Okay, so we have to go back to playing alternating drags for a minute. And we'll bring that. We're going to bring that to the single Ratamacue. I can just leave you. You can keep playing the way you're playing, but you just finally got your singles together. Now you should want to bring that to this. This is good news, Ralph. Okay, metronome on at. Put it at 48.
What alternating?
Alternating drags. Show me, reminders. Reminder. Ah, it's already better. Feel the hand close for your accent. Now you're back. You're back. Just with that much effort, that much awareness. Okay? Put the metronome up. Okay, now wait. That was good. So now you got the downstroke back. Okay? Get to my left. Okay, there it is. Okay. And then while we're doing is going up, 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 up. Now hold on a sec. I want to give you an exercise. Up, 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 up. Three, four, 3, 4, and then you go back. Because, right, it's not a downstroke, right? We're just turning. But there's this, look. So I wanted you just to feel this. See, this, because there's this, I need you to feel what? A drag.
Okay.
Experience the tactile. The downstroke. Now go back to alternating drags. There's your downstroke. Now, there's your downstroke. That's more of what, see? Now you're playing a single Ratamaque. It sounds different than the way you were playing it before, because you didn't have all the parts together, okay? You'll notice that because you're starting to get this, just a regular wrist turn, right? For you to turn that into a double, not that big a deal, because if this is a wrist turn, what is a double? You learn out of a wrist turn. A double is just a wrist turn. So your double, your appoggiaturas have gotten better for your alternating drags. Okay, now let's do that. Where are we here? Where do I have you now? 48?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is play a double Ratamacue, but start with, let's see, before work, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't really mind if it turns around or not. Okay, good.
I'm sorry, double.
Okay. Stop. Just don't change the speed of your appoggiaturas, because you started to do this. Right? But I thought we were playing more of a closed drag. I thought it was more like, see? That's what it was when I wasn't hearing. I wasn't hearing that in your ra. The quality it has. That's the speed you want now. Play all 15 drags with that speed of an appoggiatura.
Can I drag?
Yeah, four of them, and then you're going to move on to the stroke. That's the speed of your appoggiatura. I'm not digging your throw. What happened to the nice big throw? Accent. Feel the hand close when you get to the surface. Bead stops. Look how flat you are. You don't lose that. Go ahead. There's your throw. There's this right throw. Don't tighten up your arms. Give me that nice big throw. There you go. Now this time you're going to play. Good play. Going back and forth again. It'll come along if you keep that up. That's better. See, that's what you need to do. You need to slow the thing down so that you maintain focus and play the thing correctly so that all the parts are of the same highest quality, right? You can't have like a great appoggiatura and then a lousy downstroke. You can't have a great downstroke and not have an appoggiatura. Can't have a wrist turn that always stops up in the air, because then you've got a weak link in your chain. Okay, that's much better. Much better. Okay, I want you to continue in that direction, playing it that way. And the speed isn't that important. I mean, right now, 48 is comfortable for you. I'd like you just to hang out. See, it's not about the speed. The speed will come. If you just get this, the speed will come. So at this point we have what? I've created a new exercise for you with regards to the Ratamacue, and then next week we probably move on to the next stroke, right? Because we've been on the single Ratamacue for 2 or 3 lessons on these. We've gone through the Ratamacues throughout the last few lessons, right? And there's 3 of them, so that would make sense. Just let's take one quick look at doubles and roll strokes. Okay. Let's just take a moment to recalibrate and to remind oneself of what it was you were just feeling. Okay, because now, what are we actually playing? Tell me what doubles on the wrist are.
2 wrist turns each.
The wrist turn. 2 of them. Is that what you're doing? Didn't I have you playing? Just to help you conceive this, conceptualize it in a way that will help you to understand what's happening, how really simple it is. Okay? And that is that, where were we? We're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So we're like here, right? Well, isn't this happening here on the right or the left? Either one, right? Here are singles. Okay, so we have that, right? Now we just want 2 of them. It's what you were just doing. Okay, so go ahead and that might be a nice way to play it. Let's see. What do you think? Let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now let's do fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Same speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, left, right, left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so we're playing the doubles as 8 notes. Okay, now you're going to go to play a 7-stroke roll. It's good. Singles are really good, but you've lost. You have an ingredient that's of lesser quality. You're putting this beautiful gourmet meal together, and you go out and you use margarine instead of butter. It's like, no. So the throw is turned into margarine. I want the high end throw. Remind yourself.
It's like this problem I have is when I start focusing on one thing, that the rest falls apart, and I have to go back, and then the other one falls apart. I have to always kind of pick the pieces.
Raph, you don't know what your own body is doing? It's your body. All you're doing is making these motions. You know how to make them, just don't forget to make them. Do it. That was good. Big motion on the throw. Other way. Okay, see? You might be bugged that it's slow, but it's correct. Nice and solid. Feel every note in your hand, can't you? Right? Kicks are all over the place. Your throw is the same as the throw in the double Ratamacue. And now, if you wanted to go from playing some passage on the drum set that were doubles and roll strokes, and you went to go play the Ratamacue, the throw would be the same. See, so now you can navigate through the strokes, one to the other, and things don't keep changing. That's part of the magic of the Spivak library, the chronology of strokes. One thing can become another thing, but unless you have the first thing correct, it can't turn into the other thing. Mm-hmm. It'll be some kind of, what do they call it? It's a mashup. Not what you want. Okay, so where were we just now? Where did I have you?
I was just playing without a metronome, but I can try to put one.
Yeah.
I think the prescription was 92, I think.
Oh, well, let me, I didn't give you a metronome marking. You were playing by feel.
Yeah, well, that's like 60 maybe, right?
Let me think about it here for a second. You're going. What we're doing? We were playing one and a two and a three and a four and a click, 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 click. Click, click, click. The metronome is 72. Go ahead, doubles. Sorry, my fault. It's that new chart I've created. Singles, 16th notes. And then you're going to go into doubles on those. Put the metronome up to 92. Let's see what happens. Okay, pretty good. Just remember, we're not doing now it's so fast I have to bounce. No, you're just going to turn your wrist faster.
Yeah. No problem.
Can you see how the two blend into one another? Because it's just a rhythm. Okay. Rebound. Here's wrist. it is. It's twice as fast. It's pretty easy. Okay, so you're up, right? You're up to where do I have 92? Playing it correctly, right? But that's all that happens. And at a certain point, it will turn into rebounds. See, the throws are still the same. The strokes are still the same. Just turning my wrist. Everything's nice and flat. Right? So it's coming along. Better. You sound much more solid. All right? And fade to black.